Terrific to have your company once again on Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy show. Thanks for joining us. My name is Rick Fontaine and we have a very big show. Plenty of guests coming up tonight for our women's segment with thanks to Cleanaway. And our club in focus is the famous Scottsdale Football Club with some special guests joining us here in the studio. And we're going to speak to a young man who is eyeing off a massive milestone as well. All that to come, but of course, first up, as we do every week, it's time for our photo of the week, with thanks to the team at Little Rivers Brewing Company. All right, we're going to start off. Have a look at this photo. This was the photo that won last week for our photo of the week. This was sent in by Nick Finlay, taken from the top of the hill, looking down onto the Mount Pleasant football ground. Well, our next photo, this is actually him at the top of the hill. You see that little dot up there? Well, that is Nick taking the photo. This pic was actually sent in to us during the week by the ODFA president in Brian O'Reilly. So that is the magnificent vantage spot. Nick took that photo. So I thought we'd just paint a picture of that one as well. All right, let's have a look at our photos. Plenty coming in this week as well. Firstly, this is the East Coast Swans versus Meander Valley Suns NTFA Division 1 clash at St Helens. Great ruck contest there. Photo taken by Jasmine Snooks. So thank you, Jasmine, for sending that picture into us. Our next couple from David Clark, a regular contributor of fantastic photos. This is Jack Tammons. Have a look at that pack mark that he took, and that is for Cygnet against Brighton in the SFL last week. And also with thanks to David Clark, here's Fraz Johns. Have a look at that for a pic. That is Fraz playing for the Huonville Lions reserves in their match for against Lindisfarne last week. Absolute beauty. And now our next one. What a great goal celebration here. This is during the Brighton and Cygnet clash last week. And we can see the immediate impact of the goal right through to all the celebrations. So thank you to Eliza Howlett for sending us in that photo. But our winning photo for this week, a big congratulations goes to Jackie Claxton, who captured this fantastic shot up high. Great mark about to be taken there in the Old Launcestonians and Evandale's reserves clash last week. So that is our winning pick of the week. A big thank you to Little Rivers and the pack there going to Jackie Claxton of the Crafty Cuts gift pack. So as always, make sure you send us in your photos from all the action, as many of you are doing every week, and we'll put up our best for that next week's show. All right, time for a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to catch up with a couple of members from the Scottsdale Football Club. Stay with us.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
In 64, we won our first premiership, I think it was.
The sidling looked like a Christmas tree because there were car lights bumper to bumper.
He certainly wanted the ball. He demanded the ball, and then you felt you had this obligation to do your damn best to get it to him.
I've played about 20 years with Scottsdale to get 400 games.
And we were just spud diggers. We didn't train, sort of thing, and they trained, we didn't, sort of thing. So we used to knock them up anyways.
I always loved the North Launceston games. They was always going to be hard.
It changed my life. It's the best years of my life. Great memories, and you don't want to lose them.
What sort of do anything to play with? Scottsdale.
We were playing for the town. We were playing for Scottsdale.
Well, that was part of a documentary. I had the pleasure of being able to work with Damon Goody at the invitation of the Scottsdale Football Club on that proud and historic club a couple of years ago almost now, and some great memories. And as we will see during this course of the interview, so many so many great successes for this historic football club. Now, we're going to focus on them today because they have copped, it's fair to say, a fair bit of criticism right around Tasmania since the announcement of the 4 NTFA clubs that would form part of the new Premier League that'll be starting in 2025. Now, Scottsdale were founded in 1899. They are one of the most famous and historic clubs in Tasmania. And in fact, they were the very first football team to be inducted into the AFL Tasmania Football Hall of Fame after their very famous, and we saw there Bob Wilson, who was the coach of the 1973 state premiership team. In 2024, the club undoubtedly struggling on the field, but there is a lot to talk about, and there is a lot more behind the scenes as well that we're going to get into that is happening with the Scottsdale Football Club. So I've got a couple of guests. We'll meet our second one very shortly, but firstly, Joel Hayes is the senior coach of the Scottsdale Football Club. And, mate, thanks for coming into Launceston today and being part of the show.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Pleasure to be here.
How have you found it? First year as senior coach with the football club. I mean, you are obviously struggling on the field, but I was up at Youngtown a few weeks ago when you played South Launceston. It's probably fair to say the yardstick of the competition. They beat you by about 30 goals, but the thing that struck me the most, your team played 4 quarters of football to the best of their ability.
Yep.
They had a dip, they had a crack, they followed instructions, and you even had a call, I think, from Jack Maher, the South Launceston coach, after the game, just to saying, wow, we were in a game of football. How are you feeling as a leader of this football club at the moment?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. I mean, it's obviously just got to try and keep things positive. Guys are pretty young, so obviously there's a couple of us older guys there, just trying to lead them the right way. Yeah, just trying to teach them things at training during the week. Obviously trying to take that into a Saturday, and yeah, just seeing general improvement from the first round to the last round, really. So,
how's morale at the club? Because there has been, as I said in the intro, a lot of stinging criticism about the club. It's probably fair to say from a lot of sectors. How are things internally?
Morale's pretty good. Yeah, I mean everyone's trying to keep positive about everything. So, I mean everyone's got their own opinions and. I mean, they can say what they can say, but us as a footy club, I mean, we know where we're going next year, which is probably the biggest thing now. So we can plan for that, which people have got plans in place already behind the scenes. So, yeah, we can look forward to that and know where we're going and just move forward from there.
And you are a football club that's been around for 125 years. Now, you wouldn't find a football club in Tasmania that hasn't had a tough period on the field.
Hey.
It's a tough period on the field right now. There is a bigger picture. Paint a picture for it, because we've spoken about this in terms of a lot of people said, oh, people aren't hanging around in Scottsdale. They're leaving. You can't attract players. The kids are going. The reality is that's pretty far removed from the truth from what we're seeing, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously there's a fair few numbers coming through the juniors at the moment. We've got 7 junior teams plus our 4 senior teams. So adds up to about close to 300 players, including from Auskick all the way through. So, yeah, there's plenty of numbers there. Fair few guys coming through and girls that are being picked in northern teams and state teams and stuff like that. So, yeah, there's plenty of positives to come with the juniors coming through. Yeah, I don't think it'd take too many to try and lure there for us to go back up the ladder for sure.
We've got a lot of legends that have been part of the football club, and we'll show a few photos as we move through our interview as well. But that's something that when you walk into the club rooms, it's not lost on you, is it? And I guess everyone we see there, you know, one of the great coaches of Tasmanian football in Bob Wilson. How significant is the football club, and what is the importance of it to not only Scottsdale but the northeast region?
He's big Steve-O.
Yeah, Stephen Nichols. Well, you talk about greats.
He coached me 1 year or half a year. Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, it's not just the town; it's the whole region. Like we have kids travel from as far as Gladstone, guys playing the reserves as far as Rushy Lagoon, which is 20 minutes out of Gladstone. Like they're travelling down on some Tuesdays and Thursday nights, like an hour and a half, just to come down to training. So that covers the fair old area. Yes, I mean that's the work they want to put in.
Yeah,
and we just obviously help them out where we can, but yeah, definitely the whole area. It's definitely not just Scottsdale, so that's a bit of a spot for people to meet on a Saturday. A lot of people come from different places and enjoy, and some they can just come to one game a year, and they'll still see the same people and have a beer and have a laugh and have a chat and watch the footy no matter the result. So
and plenty of generations have played. I mean, here we see one of my all-time favourite players, really in Tasmania, Jamie Dennis, who tragically lost his life to illness at a very young age. But see his daughter, and there she is. Good segue into Alex Hall, who really was at the forefront almost for women's football in Tasmania, and of course the Scottsdale Football Club women's, they won a premiership back in the COVID year as well. I think what's something that can't be lost is there was a criteria to get into the NTFA Premier League. You tick all the boxes.
Yeah.
Didn't have an under-18 side last year. You have this year, women's team. So do you feel like the building blocks are there, and can you see a silver lining in terms of improvement on the field? Because that's what a lot of people judge you on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like you say, obviously we met with the Premier League for next year. Like you say, all the criteria was met for us as a club. And yeah, we obviously just work from the bottom the way we're going. I mean, like I said before, like there's plenty of young guys getting the chance to play senior footy at the moment, so they're only going to improve. Like you said, with a couple of recruits, they'll obviously improve them as well, and we can just slowly build our way up. So I don't think it's probably a quick fix thing. It's probably 2 or 3 years down the track. You probably see some bigger improvement, but we've already seen improvement this year. But yeah, the longer it goes on, it's definitely think there's improvement there.
And just finally, before we go to a break, Joel, you're obviously helping and leading from the front on the field, but off the field, is there plenty happening off the field as well in terms of preparing Scottsdale moving forward?
Yeah. So the committee, and they've put together a bit of a subcommittee for next year as well. Obviously, the committee at the moment is still busy with this year. But yeah, they've put together some things for next year in place, just some meetings and all that sort of stuff, which most other clubs that are in it as well probably doing the same thing. So, yeah, obviously things are moving forward, and which is good to see.
You seem like a really positive bloke, and I get the sense that all this negativity, and there is a lot of it, doesn't get to you.
Nah, not to me. Nah, pretty cruisy, to be honest with you. Yeah, pretty stress-free life for me. I mean, I'm busy with missus and 3 kids and work and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, noise if people like all the negative sort of stuff. It doesn't worry me. Just over the top. Yeah, good. Just move on to the next day, and away we go.
Look, Joel Hayes, Senior Coach of Scottsdale Football Club, appreciate you jumping on the show.
No worries, mate.
We're going to catch up with someone else who's come back to the club this year and have a talk as to why and a little bit about his journey as well. But we appreciate you coming on today as well, because I know a lot of people are looking forward to hearing the other side and actually hearing from the Scottsdale Football Club. So good to have you with us.
No worries. Thanks, Rick. Cheers.
It's Joel Hayes, Senior Coach of the Scottsdale Football Club. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to talk to a guy, well, he's gone the whole way. He's played AFL as well, and he's now playing back up in his region at the moment with the Scottsdale Football Club. Coming up next. Tuning into Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy shows. We continue with our Club in Focus with thanks to Harrison Agents, and that is the Scottsdale Football Club. Now, our next guest, well, he's had quite the journey from Branksholme to the North Launceston Football Club to the Fremantle Dockers, where he played for 4 seasons. And at the moment, he's down here in Tassie, and he is up in the northeast region where he came from, and he's playing a few games for the Scottsdale Football Club. It's good to welcome back to Tassie Jesse Crichton. Hey, mate, good to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on the show. Tell us about it. You said you're going to be playing around about 6 games for Scottsdale. What lured you to coming back and having a bit of a kick with the club?
As most people close to me would know, I'm currently travelling around Australia with my family, and obviously growing up in the northeast was a big part of my childhood and my younger years. So I wanted to make sure my family knew where I come from and all the joys that I had growing up down here. So yeah, we're locked in here for a couple more weeks yet, and we've been enjoying it so far.
Fantastic. So let's, before we get on to Scottsdale, your journey, as I said, you had drafted, of course, through North Launceston over to the Fremantle Dockers, where you spent 4 seasons there. Was that always a dream for you? Because, I mean, you've got quite the family history. Your grandfather played in 3 premierships, I think, including the most famous of them all, that 1973 state premiership. So that was Malcolm Crichton. Your dad played in 89 premiership in Brett Crichton. They're both life members of the club. Was that a big lure for you to come and, I guess, an easy choice when chatting to Scottsdale to play a few games? Because you were from Branksholme.
Yep. Yeah, no, I've always wanted to play for the club. Unfortunately, in my junior days, it wasn't available for me, so I sort of moved straight on to North Launceston. But yeah, coming back, I've always wanted to play for the club that Pop and Dad played for. They're not shy in telling me that they've both won a few flags for the club and how good they were. So it's always a big drawing card to come back and try and play in front of them and hopefully do well.
You have played at the highest level. I know we're going to bring up a photo here that'll take you back with the Fremantle Dockers from the early days as well. But when you look at Scottsdale Football Club now and what you see on the field, obviously they're struggling on the field, but what's your take and summary on it as someone who's come into the club for the first time with what you're seeing on the field in terms of the young people and the attitudes?
Yep. Yes, obviously we have been struggling a little bit on the field. The results show for that, and obviously some people are not happy with the way we're going, but the way Joel's coaching and the young boys that are out there, they've got the never die attitude. They're all having a crack to the end, like you said previously. That's what's really surprised me. It's no matter the score, those lads will just keep cracking in, and they are young. They'll get it together. Just need maybe a few more pieces and a couple of extra people around, and they'll be right there.
And other than playing for the club, what are you trying to impress on the players in your period here? For someone, as I said, who's been in the AFL system, what are you doing with them, I guess, off the field as well?
I suppose there's not much I can do except for the way I train. I try to train as hard as I can, train the way you want to play, and hopefully a couple of those young guys see the way I work around the training track and game day, and they can take something out of that.
And we're going to show a few more photos because there's that many legends of the Scottsdale Football Club, and we'll bring them up during this segment, and there we can see one of the Tassie's greatest ruckmen in Peter Roosendale. But for you now, and I guess with the club, and you talked about your father and grandfather, that they really wanted you to come back and have a kick. Do you see yourself potentially down the track as we get into this Premier League? Do you hope to be able to play more games for the club?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to stick around and play, but unfortunately, like I said, we are travelling around at the moment. But who knows where I'll be next year, and it may well be at Scottsdale. If I'm in Tasmania, it will definitely be at Scottsdale.
Great. You've obviously played in the state league down here and in the Northeast Football Union as well. But what's your take as coming back to Tassie for a period of time, for a couple of months? What do you think of the changes that are being made with football in Tassie? Because we're moving away from a state league into the regional Premier Leagues, obviously with an AFL team and a VFL team to come in. What do you think of it?
I'm not too sure on how it all actually works and what's going on. I know Scottsdale is going to be in the top league next year, which will be a great challenge for the boys. But as you've read out there, a few of the stats, they were a powerhouse from back in the day. There's no reason why you can't climb back up there.
No. Look, thanks for coming on the show, because as I said, and congratulations on what you've done. Oh, no, you're still playing footy as well, aren't you, in between all the travelling and everything like that. But how good is it to get back to the Northeast region? Because, and I guess probably last question, from your point of view, since you've gone, the Northeast Football Union has gone, your club, Branksholme, have gone.
Yep.
So the importance of, we've got the Bridport Football Club and the Scottsdale Football Club. How vital and how important is it to people and communities now that a lot of those clubs are no longer here?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important. Like you got to have something, and the football club, it brings everyone together. The Thursday night meals, the game days, whether it's in the bar having a beer or having a kick out on the ground. You need those community events, and the football club's a great way to get everyone involved. Yep.
All right. Well, look, Jesse Crichton, enjoy the last little period here in Tassie. I hope, and great to see you back at the footy club as well. Well done on your football career, and look forward to hopefully seeing you pulling on the black and white next year as well.
Hopefully. Thank you.
All right, that's Jesse Crichton joining us, and of course Joel Hayes as well, senior coach of the Scottsdale Football Club. And great to focus on the Magpies, because it is a club, as I said, that is very proud, historic football club, and great to hear from them directly that there is a lot happening off the field and on the field as well in terms of their development as they look forward to 2025 and being part of the NTFA Premier League. All right, it's time for a break. When we come back, our focus turns to women's football.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice, call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Now, thanks to our great friends at Cleanaway, it is time now for our women's segment. And we're going to bring up the SFLW division ladder because that is our segment for this week as we focus on the Lauderdale Football Club. And we can see there that Lauderdale currently sitting fourth on the table. And they got the bye this weekend. And it's a great pleasure now to welcome our very special guest on our women's segment today on our footy show. It is Emma Waller from the Lauderdale Football Club who joins us. G'day, Emma. Thanks for joining us on a very short notice as well. Obviously, we had someone else lined up. She's a little bit unwell today, but we're going to catch up with her next week as well. So we look forward to catching up with Christy there. But how are you? Thanks for joining us, Emma.
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm very excited to see how this all comes together.
It'll be just fine. And look, it's great to talk to you because you have played sport at a very high level. You played NBL 1 with the Hobart Chargers. You took up football at the age of 30. So what prompted you to take up the sport?
Yeah, I have had a great experience with the Hobart Chargers. I started playing with them when I was around 20 years old. Had a really incredible journey with them, and then as the talks of the NBL coming into Tasmania started, there was a year of the Hobart Huskies and the Tasmanian Huskies, and it was a bit of a challenging year for us, and it just was by chance at a training session for the Huskies at the time that one of the girls mentioned that their cousin played for Lauderdale and that they were thinking about having a kick, and my ears pricked and I was like, if you go to training, take me with you. So I actually made contact with the coach who played with my husband at the time and said that I was interested in coming along and having a look, and I did at the very end of the season and played 3 games back in, I think that was about 5 years ago, and then COVID hit, must have been 2019, and then had a year off to have our 3rd child, and then was approached again by the club 3 years ago, 4 years ago actually, and had a whole season with them and have just absolutely loved it. The culture is beautiful, the team is amazing, and I've really enjoyed stepping away from the basketball and into football. It's been a nice, smooth transition.
And basketball obviously is just massive at the moment since we've come into the NBL. But with the evolution of and continue evolution of women's football, you've been part of football now for around 5 years. What have you noticed from when you took up the game to today at the level that it's gotten to?
The skills that is coming through, it's every year it's getting better and better. I was around Lauderdale when the girls first put the team together, and beautiful group of girls, but the skills that have progressively improved over the years. We're now looking at girls that have played Auskick coming in at the senior level age, where they've kind of natural football comes so natural to them. It is really exciting to see the skills improve every single year.
And you'd be very familiar with pathways. You've been through it with basketball, obviously, to get to the level where you played with the Chargers in the old Seaball or NBL 1. But as you look at it now from a football perspective, the pathway moving forward for women and girls, how would you describe it? Because, I mean, people can stay home now, can't they? They don't need to move.
Yeah, the opportunity is definitely improving for women's sport. There's the Devils program that they have, the academy, and they've actually incorporated younger age groups to be able to come through that now with the likes of the AFL coming in a few years' time. So the pathway for children is definitely getting younger and younger, and there's more opportunities out there for boys and girls to, have a really smooth pathway from Auskick right through to AFL, AFLW.
And just finally, you touched on the culture, but we've got a couple of photos that we'll bring up and around the Lauderdale Football Club. You recently had the Pink Day, which was an absolutely massive success from what I've heard. But what women's football has done for the culture at football clubs as well, how have you seen it at the Lauderdale Footy Club?
I think when you've got like the diversity of men and women and children and having that whole kind of collective of people, it really brings a diverse range of skills and knowledge and kind of commitment. So I think, having the Pink Day for us was massive, and there was a huge men, women, children, all a part of that. the community that come around that particular day. It was so inspiring.
No doubt looking forward to a weekend off this weekend, not having to play. You got the bye this week. So how are you going to make up your Saturday? I mean, I know you obviously got 3 littlies as well, so you'll be going out to the footy still?
Our whole weekend will be football. We have our 13-year-old will be playing in one of the rep games this Sunday, which is quite exciting. So training for that Friday night, game for that on Sunday, and then the teenage boy will also have a game of football. So just full of sport, full of football, always at a ground somewhere.
No respite. And it looks like,
I love it.
Sounds like someone else wants your attention too. You just did the background as well. Done very well to stay off camera, but they can jump on camera if they want to. But look, it's been great to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us, Emma. And that was very late notice, but really appreciate you filling the hole this morning and being part of our footy show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Good. Great to have you with us. Thanks again. That's Emma Waller joining us from the Lauderdale Football Club. And whilst we're on the SFL, we've got Rep Footy not too far away. And we'll give you some details now. The SFL are going to be taking on the NWFL. And that is going to be at North Hobart Oval on Saturday, the 8th of June. And then on Monday, the 10th of June, the SFL are going to be playing the NTFA. So those matches are coming up. Lock them up in your diaries. Rep Footy is always fantastic to see, as I said, and particularly down at North Hobart Oval. We just show you the squads as well quickly for the SFL as we focus on that competition this week. We can see from the Lauderdale Football Club down there on the second column, Amy Edmund selected as well. So that is your SFLW All-Stars squad and also the Under-20s squad on our next slide as well for those. So congratulations to all the players. They're going to be coached by Cameron Duffy with those games only a couple of weeks away. And just finally, the matches coming up in the SFLW this weekend as well. It all kicks off tomorrow night at North Hobart Oval with North Hobart in third place. They're going to be taking on Glenorchy. And at the Twin Ovals, it'll be Kingborough. Top of the table. This will be a cracking game. Kingborough taking on Clarence, who are second, 4-1. That is coming up at 7:30 tomorrow night. Lauderdale, as we mentioned earlier, have got the bye, and there are your Division 2 matches. Hutchins taking on Dodgers Ferry. St Virgil's are at home to Huonville. Southeast Suns against Tasmania University Football Club. At beautiful Boyer in New Norfolk, the Eagles will be taking on Claremont, and Lindisfarne will wrap things up at Anzac Park when they take on Port Brighton. Have got the bye this week. So that is our women's footy for this week with thanks to Cleanaway. Time for a break. Back with football around Tasmania shortly.
Durable, reliable, heavy duty. Get the power you need from the people who know machinery. For sales, parts, servicing and expert advice. Call DLM Machinery today or visit dlmmachinery.com.au.
Welcome back to Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy show. Great to have your company. It's time now for our Football Around Tasmania segment. Now, the Sheffield Football Club, as you're about to see, it is nestled beautifully on the northwest coast underneath Mount Roland. And our next guest, well, he may, or maybe not, looking forward to the bye this week because he's got a pretty good big week coming up in his career. He kicked 16 goals for Sheffield last week in the reserves. He's also the captain, but he now sits on 997 goals for the Sheffield Football Club alone. This is in addition to the 300 he kicked for Mole Creek over a couple of seasons as well. It is quite a record as he approaches the 1,000 goal mark. And it's very good to catch up with Shane Campbell from the Sheffield Footy Club. G'day, Shane. Good to see you again, mate. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks very much. How you going?
Yeah, going well. We caught up last year. Of course, we did a documentary on the Sheffield Footy Club, and fast forward about 12 months, mate, you're on the cusp of an incredible record, 997 goals. You've got the bye this week, as I touched on. Then you're at home against Wesleyvale the following week. There'll be a fair bit of expectation, and no doubt probably expecting a bigger than normal crowd for the occasion, which will obviously you've got to get 3 goals first. But how are you feeling about all that?
Yeah, it's exciting as well as a bit nervous. We got two reunions on the day. One that I was a coach for in the reserves, so I got a lot of people coming up to give me a bit of stick about it, and so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be good to catch up with a lot of people. There's a '94 reunion as well as not life members and sponsors day. So it's going to be a massive day for the club. It's playing a pretty good opponent in Wesley Vale, so it's probably not going to be as easy as what I had at the last week. So fingers crossed, we can get across the line and get a win, most and foremost.
Indeed.
But getting 3 goals in front of all my mates would be pretty special. I would
You
have
probably
thought.
have the blokes further up the field, Shane, probably trying to get the ball in your hands pretty early on in the game to try and get it away.
Yeah, well, it does help, that's for sure. The boys were looking for me pretty well last week, so it's a bit of luck. It all happens, and it'd be great.
So for our viewers, describe your I guess you as a forward. What sort of a forward do you picture yourself as? You're not an out and out big full forward, high marking guy.
Yeah, I'm a big strong forward. Take big hangers and kick goals every week. That's not me. I think I've taken 4 hangers in my life,
Right.
and not once as the umpire actually paid one. So I wouldn't say my marking is a strength. I'm more of a small forward, a crumbing forward. More comfortable on the run. Snapping goals is sort of my forward. So that's. Yeah, anything along the ground is I feel a lot more comfortable with.
So did you, I don't know whether you watched the front bar last night, but Leon Davis was very good at that. I know he was a guest on the show last night. Do you picture yourself as a bit like him or a Stephen Milne from years gone back?
Yeah, well, Stephen Milne, I was probably more like Stephen Milne, I suppose. I hang out a lot and wait for my teammates to hand me the ball and then I'll kick the goal. So, but Leon Davis, he was one of my favourite players. I'm a mad Collingwood man, so what he done was unbelievable, and I might go. I'll run with that, Rick. Thanks.
All right, let's go with that one. Leon Davis like. Now you're leading the goal kicking, Shane, with 52 goals in just 6 matches for Sheffield in the Rezzies. Are you knocking on the door of your senior coach Aaron McNabb and just saying, "Hey mate, goals talk"?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. I think I'll be into his ear this week for sure. He'll probably teach him how to kick goals. He misses a few, the big fella, but I'm not sure. They got some key forwards there, and young Burns is doing a really, really good job. He's leading the goal kicking in the seniors, and then Nabby's just behind him. So they've got a very good forward mix. Better than probably the previous few years. You've got more of a spread up there, so it is a hard side to crack into, especially a winning side. So, but yeah, I'll be in his ear, and
Good.
Yeah, why not? I'll have a crack at it and see what I come up with.
Well, you've had over 20 years with the club. What do you love about the Sheffield Footy Club?
Just the community, I guess you could say. I live in Sheffield. I work in Sheffield. The town. The town gets right behind the footy club, which is really good, and it's the people there is just really good. I've made lifelong friends. I had a few years off here back in 2017, I think it was. I had 3 years off there, and never missed the footy. I'm a keen fisherman, so I took up a bit of fishing and really enjoyed it. And it wasn't until a good mate started coaching, trying to get the club. The club wasn't going too well at that stage, so I come back, and that's when I realised that I did miss it. So even though you step away and you're not really thinking about it, it's when you go back and you see all them boys that you've missed out on seeing, just through football is what's keeping me on now. It's a really good vibe, and just enjoying being around the club again, which is good.
Now, one of the biggest days in our lives is when you get married, Shane, and I guess to put into context how important this football club is to you, you actually got married at the Sheffield Football Club, is that right?
I did, Rick, I did. Going back 2013 now it was, we had a engagement party organised at the footy club, and my wife also works in Sheffield, so there's a lot of people in Sheffield that we know, and the engagement list was quite big, so we had to cut that in half, and in the end it was just too hard to cut it in half, so we thought, why not just get married on the night? We'll have a surprise, and that's what we did. And we talked about it not that long ago. We talked about it, and people said what a good night it was. And going back, we wouldn't change a thing. We wouldn't go back to a traditional wedding. I think it was just laid back. It was us, and it's been really good. So,
brilliant.
Yeah.
Hope your wife loves the Sheffield Football Club as much as you, mate, because
yeah, no, she likes
good,
it.
good.
She wouldn't mind me to retire and spends a bit more time at home, but it's Tuesdays and Thursday nights it gets a bit hectic with the kids, but it is good to get back to the footy club and just see the boys. That's for sure.
Brilliant. Just finally, Shane, is there a sense of nervousness around this milestone? Because I've got someone trying to work on it to see how many footballers in Tasmania have actually kicked 1,000 goals with one club, and I'm not sure what that is at the moment. But is this something that, I mean, you must be extremely proud, but also is there a sense of nervousness, any niggles at the moment that you're a bit worried about? It's with the body as well.
Yeah, well, I am a little bit nervous. I didn't expect to come out to kick 1,000 goals. That's for sure when I first started. But yeah, the body's definitely not like it used to be. I don't think I've got any more than 4 games in a row where I'm not out with a hamstring. I'm doing hamstrings a lot now as I get older.
Right.
And through running fast, I suppose that was what I was good at. Running around the contest. So I can't really do that anymore. And when I go to do that, I just blow hamstrings. So it's a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, I've got to realise where I'm at in my body. So it's just take it as it is. But touch wood, it hasn't been too bad. I've only missed a couple of weeks this year with hamstrings. So with a bit of luck, I'll get through, and we can get 3 more goals.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen this week, it'll be the week after with luck. So.
They'll all have to come back again. So, look, we wish you well. The buy's probably come at a good time then, so as you can prepare and be cherry ripe for next week. But, look, Shane, good to chat with you again, mate. Thanks for jumping on the show. And I know we'll keep a keen eye on next weekend, and let's hope you can get those 3 goals. But it's a great record you should be very proud of. Well done.
Thanks very much, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Good on you. That's Shane Campbell joining us from the Sheffield Football Club. 997 goals with the one club. Extraordinary. Let's hope he gets the 3 next week. All right, I'm just going to finish off with the NWFA and take a look. The Darwin Football Association have got their big game coming up on June the 7th at the Wivenhoe Showgrounds. This is the Rep Footy match that is coming up, and they're going to be taking on, it's the NWFA and the Darwin Association. It's the first year that last year was actually the first year these two associations had played a rep game for 7 or 8 years. So get along if you can to Wivenhoe Friday night, the 7th of June. NWFA matches this weekend. We've got East Ulverston. They're in 4th position at the moment. They are taking on Turners Beach. And so that should be a very good game as well. So looking forward to that weekend. All right, just a couple of things to finish up with. The City South Football Club. This is going to be a fantastic event coming up this weekend. Their reunion is at the Australian Italian Club in Launceston, recognising the last premiership that this team ever won, the senior premiership of 1974. Some famous names in that photo there. Derek Pearden, who played for Richmond, Bruno Zalesco, Kim Saltmarsh, Craig Coombs, Wayne Chugg, and Stewie Barclay, who was the captain coach at the time. That'll be a fabulous event. All right, the other event that's coming up, this is a fantastic day at the Rochalee Football Club. It is on Sunday, the 2nd of June. Rochalee are playing Bracknell. This is their annual NTFA Aboriginal match. Generally attracts a crowd of around 2,000. Get along for this. There's also, they have the long walk every year. It's the Little Long Walk. It's leaving Brooks High School, and that'll take you to the Rochalee Recreation Ground as well. The pre-game function at 11:30. There's an under-17 girls match at 12:20, and then the men's NTFA senior match, which should be a cracker as well at 2:15. TSL match of the round coming up this weekend. North Launceston are taking on Lauderdale. That's at UTAS Stadium, 1 o'clock on Saturday. You can catch all the action through the team at City Park Radio. In other matches, Launceston are playing the Tigers at Windsor Park. That's at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And also at the same time, North Hobart and Glenorchy, with Clarence having the bye this week And just finally, it is a big freeze. We know that, but there is a big freeze actually coming out at the Deloraine Football Club. Big Freeze 3. 18 people at this stage, celebrities, local politicians, football people are going to be taking the plunge into the big pool of ice on Saturday, the 1st of June. Beanies are going to be available as well. That is Deloraine Footy Club, plenty of footy action as well. So make sure you get along and support what will be a great cause. All right, it's been a big show. We thank you for your company and for everything and all the content that you're shooting through to us. We almost need to have a second show every week. Thank you. We appreciate the great support. We hope you enjoy your footy weekend, and we look forward to seeing you next week here on Tassie Rules, Tasmania's footy show.